Final score, Rotherham United 0, Wrexham 1. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC, and that was an excellent result. Second away win of the season against the Rotherham side, which started poorly this season but has been improving massively and has a lot of good players they spent well in the summer. But that was an excellent outcome. Wrexham did well going forwards, dug deep and defended superbly when we had to. That's a great, great result. Bad news, of course, that Jack Marius was injured in training in the week before the game. But, to be fair, Paul Mullins not the worst player to bring in that sort of situation. He's good cover. And you could say he made an immediate impact. 16 seconds into the game, and he has scored. Typical man for the big occasion. I've checked. It's definitely the fastest goal he scored in this millennium. I'll go through the last as best I can. It'll be tricky, to be honest, because an awful lot of goals won't be reported exactly what time they were scored in. But it'll be interesting to see just how it does compare with more recent early strikes. This one, I've got to say, Rotherham, when I saw them against Peterborough the week before, their pressing was more getting up the pitch and blocking passing channels. Now, we saw how when we actually hassled aggressively in our pressing up Peterborough, we really caused them problems and they couldn't get the ball out from the back. Rotherham opted not to do that. And I remember at the time thinking, I hope they do that against us. Well, there was nobody getting close to Wrexham men in this early exchange. Ball from a kick-off played back to Owen O'Connell. He's got all the time in the world to feed a ball forwards, not what the traditional diagonal, just a forwards ball down the channel. Palmer is allowed space to bring it down and find Barnett on the right, and Barnett does the Barnett thing, doesn't he? He's in a bit of form, don't you know? Sweeps the ball over. Mullin still has plenty to do. It's not dropping perfectly in front of him, but from just outside the 6-yard box at the far post, he does really well to get his leg high and hook it past the keeper and under the bar. Great finish, and Wrexham off to the absolute perfect start. And we looked confident. We were moving the ball around well. Rotherham were probing and looking to get through us, but when they did, we dropped back into that mid-block and we looked very comfortable. In fact, we had another opportunity again, Barnett causing problems, sweeping it in, and Palmer not quite able to take advantage of it. First real chance for Rotherham came nearly halfway through the first half, and it was a close thing for Wrexham. The ball clears only as far as Rafferty was lurking about 15 yards out in the right channel. He drove a shot in towards goal, which hit awkwardly into the ground. It went across a Concours, had no chance to get across to it. I don't think it did hit Dan Scar's knee. It was a close run thing. Might have been a thin edge. Maybe the snickometer went to spotted it if it was a cricket match. But it just whistled past the far post and behind. Ref gave a goal kick. Andy Cannon, who was very energetic, went down hurt early on and really looked bad. Had a long spell of treatment, and Ollie Rathbone was ready to come on to replace him against his old club. He didn't. Amazingly, Cannon resurrected and carried on for another half hour. But that was quite surprising. He kept going very well. He felt, though, that Wrexham's mid-block, although it was really solid, we dropped into it and almost sort of accepted, okay, we'll just grind this out. We weren't getting the ball down and moving it forwards in midfield quite like we'd like to. And Rotherham did have another chance, a Powell free kick, which was swept dangerously in from the flank. Dobson gets up. It flicks his head and is dropping at the far post. Probably would have hit the post. A Concours can't take any chances and uses that wide reach of his to make a really, really good save. The ball comes back out to Wilkes, who from close range smashes a shot. Fabulous block by Palmer to put it behind for the corner. So Wrexham maybe, just inviting a bit too much pressure on ourselves. Although the last chance of the half came to us from a Rotherham corner, admittedly. Dobson, this time very calm, bringing the ball down, feeding it out to the right-hand side. That's what you want to see. Players like Dobson on the ball when we're under pressure in our half, who are calm enough to get their head up and play the pass. Barnett goes on a fantastic run. Nobody can keep up with him, so it ends up being Barnett against 5 defenders. He waits for support, but then goes round the outside and delivers his cross in towards the box. It's into a lovely area. Palmer can't get to it, and he claims he's been fouled in the box. I don't really think so, to be honest. He's trying to run in, can't get there, and runs into the centre-back. But having said that, the centre-back had his back to the goal, looking at Palmer rather than where the ball was going, so I could see some logic in it, but really, he'd be very lucky to get a penalty for that. rather suspected Phil Parkinson at half time had told his team that we need to not be retreating into the mid block as much because we came out on the front foot, and the Wrexham fans, nearly 2,500 filling the away end, I mean, were superb throughout the game, but in the second half really played their part. Whether it was because they liked what they saw at the start of the second half, or whether it's just they didn't like what they saw in the first half in terms of how we retreated quite a lot and accepted pressure on ourselves, I don't know. But the noise they were making throughout the second half from the start was superb, and Wrexham's breakaway and swift use of the ball really played in well with that vociferous support. We had an opportunity when a great ball by Mullin over to the right hand side sent Barnett away. He fed Cannon into the box. Probably should have pulled it back. Two players unmarked at the far post, Prince, and he drove in a shot which was well blocked at the near post by Dawson. Then it was Palmer with a great take of the ball, dropping awkwardly in a crowd, bringing it down, running to the edge of the box where he was fouled. Wrexham was screaming for a penalty. It was just as a brilliant decision. The ref gets it right. Free kick. It was marginally outside the box. A real lucky escape for Rotherham. And Wrexham threatened from the free kick. O'Connor drives it in over the wall, but the keeper's able to hold on to it. Rotherham start to build up a head of steam and start to create some chances. A good ball down the right-hand side finds Wilkes, who does well to spin O'Connor, but drives a shot which is deflected into the side netting. Really, again, should have pulled it back. There were players arriving in the box. Wrexham then at the other end, Barnett fed by Cannon on the right, ripping it into the far post once more. Mullin stretching with his header, just can't get power on it, and it's therefore a straightforward save for Dawson. Ball just fractionally too high for Mullin to attack. Rotherham make changes that impact the game. The players who were starting in the attacking four, who are good players, by the way, didn't really make much of an impact. So they switch things around. They bring Holmes on at the right and Hungbo on the left, and they do make an impact. They're both aggressive. They both like to run at people and take shots, and they liven Rotherham up, and they stir themselves up to the point where they're able to have a big finish. Holmes bursting down the right-hand side, finding Wilkes. He drives it in. Great block by O'Connell. Then Wrexham getting up the other end. Mullin feeding it to Cannon. It's fantastic run by him down the right-hand side. He pings it across, and McLean has it in space. He, again, really should pull it back. Lee's totally unmarked on the edge of the area. But to be fair to him, he drives in the shot, which his head, I'm not sure if it's going in or not, but it beats the keeper. And the rotating centre-back has to glance it away from under the bar for a corner. And from that corner, Wrexham go close once more. O'Connor sweeping it into the far post. Powerful header by Scar from about 8 yards is blocked. It ricochets, hits Palmer. It could easily have ricocheted in off him, but it drops down in front of him instead. It's blocked again, and Palmer racing onto it can't quite beat the keeper to the ball in front of an open net. Wrexham making chances. But then Cannon in the 62nd minute has to come off. Rathbone comes on to an ovation from his old fans. Everyone I speak to who knows anything about Rotherham says he was their best player. They gutted to let him see him go, and they showed that. They were really, really keen to applaud him. Fletcher comes on for Palmer in the 70th minute as well. The game's starting to turn more towards Rotherham's way. Like I said, they're now getting that head of steam going up the other end. They get a chance of a quarter of an hour left. Holmes on the edge of the box after a corner's been cleared to him with a mishit shot, which is blocked. It spins wide and is pulled back in from the right-hand side. Nombe back to goal, does well to turn and spin and hit a shot, but puts it fractionally wide. Then it's up at the other end. Rathbone brilliantly tackling high in the Rotherham half. He feeds Fletcher on the right-hand side. He pops it back into Rathbone, who's followed his tackle up with a run into the box. He helps it on, and Mullin, first time on the swivel, a really good hit, does well to get power on it, driving it towards the bottom left corner. Excellent save by Dawson at full stretch to push the ball away. Last 10 minutes, it's really frantic now. Wrexham defending gutsily. A free kick, which Bramall decides to shoot from about 25 yards. It's left of centre. He tries to catch Okonkwo out, driving it on the keeper's side. Okonkwo's starting to move behind the wall, but he readjusts really well and claws it behind for a corner. And he does well from this corner too, because the ball is dropped in by Powell into a huge crowd, and Okonkwo does well twice to come into the crowd, stretch over people, and get the ball punched clear. Can't get much distance on the punches because there's so many people in front of him, but he gets good firm contacts, gets it clear, and in the end, Wrexham are able to clear the ball safely. Then, again, Wrexham on the break. Lee with a fantastic run down the left channel, getting into the box, pulls the ball across the face of goal. Fletcher's and marks at the far post. It's just behind him and he can't reach it. Wrexham put it back into the threatening area again. Rathbone hits a shot from inside the box, which he slices and it's blocked. It comes back out. O'Connor tries a long-range shot and really gets hold of it, but that's really well blocked as well. So again, everyone was saying after the game how nervous they were from a Wrexham perspective, but we're not conceding that many chances, and we are looking more dangerous up at the other end. There's another chance with 2 minutes to go, where the ball is fed in after a long spell of pressure after a Wrexham break. Rathbone feeds it in. Fletcher spins brilliantly around the penalty spot, but McCarter's equally well to lunge across and get the block in. And despite the fact there's 5 minutes of added time to manoeuvre, Rotherham don't really carve out lots of chances. Wrexham have to defend a 6-yard box, but we close it out. Another clean sheet and an excellent victory. Looking at the performances, well, firstly, Arthur Okonkwo, excellent. He's made one really good save, and he's been good in the air. It was, again, another day where Arthur's shown his quality. The 3 centre-backs were superb. On balance, well, there are a few contenders. I think I made O'Connor man of the match because he made a lot of important interventions in the box, brought the ball forwards well too. Some of his passing was good and actually got into some good high positions in terms of shooting too. But I liked the way that O'Connor was dealing with things in the air, made some well-judged challenges in the box. Scar is class, isn't he? Scar's very, very good. He's so dominant. He could easily have scored with that header from the corner as well. And O'Connell as well. Yeah, I think his best position's in the middle of the three because, again, he defends that 6-yard box so well. But he's good on the right-hand side too and very, very reliable. The 2 wing-backs, Barnett excellent again. Caused all sorts of problems. In the second half, he did a proper Elastica Ronaldinho style, like swinging it from one foot to the other. Oh, it was amazing. He's so confident on that ball now. He just wants to bamboozle fullbacks. It's old-fashioned, how you imagine in the 50s wingers played. There's lots of shifting of the feet and feinting and dropping the shoulder. Oh, he must be a nightmare to mark. And he, again, put in good crosses and set up the goal. On the other side, McLean again suits this sort of game. Rolling his sleeves up and defending robustly, driving up the pitch all the time. This sort of physical, aggressive match suits him down to the ground. Good performance by him. In the centre of midfield, Dobson, very high quality again. His use of the ball, intelligence. I think he's probably profited from having this little break. And like I said, he had a couple of good probing passes coming in, but his reading of the game and snuffing out of danger and his ability to be calm when we're under pressure and try and look for a pass to end that pressure is invaluable for us. On the right-hand side of midfield was Andy Cannon, as always, a little dynamo chairing around and making a nuisance of himself. He took some heavy blows before he finally had to come off. Some more good combination play with Barnes as well. They combined so well. And on the left-hand side, Elliot Lee, very quiet in the first half. But again, you can rely on Lee to do the good work in front of the left side at centre-back and cover when necessary for McLean. And he did that well. In the second half, he had a couple of moments, that great run he has, which he couldn't quite find Fletcher. Good, strong, solid midfield, box-to-box midfielders performance from him. And then up front, well, Mullin scores the goal, so let's celebrate that first. And looked sharp. He didn't get a huge amount of great service in the danger area, but he was a nuisance for the defenders. He was pinning them all the time. When we got to the latter stages, he looked utterly exhausted, as you would quite imagine. I mean, the guy has really, he's been out for a while. He's had no pre-season. He stayed on for the full 90, though. And I think because, frankly, he was such a problem for Rotherham when we were under pressure, because we'd knock anything and he'd chase it and try and make something out of it. We'd knock another long clearance and he doesn't get to it, but he battles with the centre-backs. He holds them up, stops them from getting it forwards. And you could see afterwards he was absolutely exhausted. But the next time he cleared it, he went again. I mean, this is a wonderful player, isn't he? But, he's no show pony, is he? He may be a star player, he may have star quality, but my God, he will run himself absolutely into the ground for the club. Absolutely fantastic to see. He deserves all the credit in the world for that. Palmer played well, continued his form from, well, all season. Better than Humphreys, comfortably better than Humphreys in the end. I thought that was a problem for Rotherham that they slightly got away with. Worked so hard back in his own half, made a number of good headers from defensive set pieces, held the ball up well, nearly won a penalty with a run he made into the box. Palmer, again, really, really impressed me. The subs, only made 2 subs, interestingly, in a grueling game. They made an impact. Fletcher, again, just freshening up the attack. Had a couple of half chances. And Rathbone. Oh, Rathbone. It just shows, it's incredible, isn't it? The strength and depth we've got, the quality in our squad that he can't force himself into the team. Following up that bravura performance against Wolves with this, he was terrific. He's on for just under half an hour, but everything in that right-hand side of the pitch was his. He was back defending. More crucially, he immediately is getting up and causing problems with the press. Just like the Wolves game, he triggers the press. Within 30 seconds of him coming on, he and Mullin and Barnett press with terrific energy and win the ball back by the corner flag in the Rotherham half. And they just kept doing that, set up the chance for Mullin with great pressuring of the ball and winning it in the opposing half. He was outstanding. I say about, picking a man of the match, and there were a lot of candidates. But he was one of them, even though we came on in the 62nd minute. Great performance. It's a grueling week. Tough game again on Tuesday. Tough game again on Saturday. But this is the perfect performance to start that sequence off. 3 hard games in a week. We've dug in and got a brilliant away win. And now it's on to Huddersfield. But yeah, that's a performance that I think will give Phil Parkinson a great deal of encouragement. With the final score of Rotherham United 0, Wrexham 1, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.